It's my understanding that the NAACP plans to be represented at both of those conventions as well. What is your main mission at the Republican National Convention?
At the Republican National Convention, we, of course, will be focused on pushing our full agenda. We, believe that civil rights should be a bipartisan concern, and we have matters in health and education, the economy, criminal justice. Place where we tend to find most traction with Republicans these days is actually criminal justice issues, and we'll be raising a very particular issue that's important to Florida, which is the need to re-enfranchise formerly incarcerated people. You might recall that Governor Bush and Governor Chris, there was a commission that Chris inherited from Governor Bush after
Jeb Bush
after the 2000 debacle. And what came out of that was that they re-enfranchised about 80,000 formerly incarcerated people. Well, things didn't break their way in 2008, and Scott got in there and he re-disenfranchised all those folks and many more. And so we'll be releasing billboards that say simply, like for instance, there's one to Kemba Smith from Virginia, who now, by the way, Kojo, is in her second clemency proceeding over the same charges. President Clinton, you might recall, gave her clemency. But now she's seeking clemency from Bob McDonnell so that she can vote because she's moving home to Virginia. And so it says straight up, she made a mistake. She did her time. She deserves to vote. It looks like we'll have some prominent Republicans joining us for the release of these billboards in Florida, and we seek to really make visible the fact that there are Republican leaders who care about civil rights and want to make sure that we're fair.
Can you name
democracy.
one of them?
Michael Steele, the former chairman.
All right.
Ken Mehlman squarely focused on marriage equality, but he's sensitive to this issue, concerned about it as well. You might recall Ken came to our convention, I think back in 2007, actually apologized for the Southern strategy, and then wrote a letter that said that Republicans can win on ideas; they don't need to win on voter suppression or voter fraud. And then you have the kind of the old line folks, Chris Shays, Colin Powell, folks who are just good common sense Republicans, the type of folks that Jack Kemp used to hang out with.
Does that mean you are likely to be downplaying the issues that I know are of great concern to the NAACP, like voter identification laws? We talked it for a while about the wave of new voter identification laws that states have put in place, 33 states on the books requiring identification for voting. You said earlier this summer that you think more laws are pushing people out of the ballot than at any time since Jim Crow. What do you feel is driving this push, and what can you say about that at the Republican National Convention that won't get you booted out of the premises?
Well, I'm persona non grata with a good chunk of the Tea Party, but the reality is that we will bring the same message to the DNC that we bring to the RNC and vice versa. There is this aspect of voter suppression, which is a big deal. You got to remember we have like 5 million people in this country who can't vote because they were once in prison and their states still have bans.
5 million?
Yes. In Virginia, it's 400,000 alone. Virginia, and this part's a little bit personal to me because I have my grandma's grandfather and my granddad's great-grandfather were both Reconstruction-era black statesmen in Virginia. And in 1902, they actually put in the constitutional amendment that's blocking Kemba Smith from voting right now. And that was the Jim Crow Constitutional Convention. It undid the one that my great-great-granddaddy signed, which was the Reconstruction Constitution. They put in place the Jim Crow Constitution in Virginia. And the plan that included the amendment that to this day bans formerly incarcerated people from voting, a delegate to that 1902 convention said plainly, because of this plan, the darkies will be eliminated as a factor in our state's politics within 5 years. So the goal of voter suppression in the context of a country which at the time was practicing racial profiling at epic rates, trying to control black men in the wake of the end of slavery, and continues that practice to this day, it's sort of like the conversation may on its face today be about ex-felon disenfranchisement, but at the heart it's always been about suppressing the black vote. We will talk at the RNC about our other concerns. We're releasing a video next week that makes that very clear. When you start with this 5 million base of the formerly incarcerated folks, when you throw in voter ID, when you throw in the restrictions on early voting and same-day registration and everything, you get to about 23 million people being excluded from the process this year who should be able to vote.